Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Yelter Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Dude, it's Thursday, and we're back in the show. Something must have changed.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is 2021. Hello, welcome. Hopefully you survived the apocalypse. No. Ladies and gentlemen.
Which apocalypse exactly are we talking about?
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I, of course, am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific comer himself, Zealeus.
And my special guest host right here. Hello, walking across my keyboard. Goodbye now.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, the Thursday Night Hangout is a weekly, hopefully, fingers crossed, I don't get sick or weird-ass holidays. It's a weekly show, live show.
I want the holidays.
We try our best to cover the topics that are most important to you, hopefully during the show. If you haven't yet submitted a topic, a question, etc., have no fear. All you got to do is drop it in the chat, and we will add it to the topic list for the show. If, by some weird happenstance, we unfortunately run out of time to cover all the topics, they will be added to the beginning of next week's show. All right. So right before the show started, Josh Sanders was voicing the fact that he missed us at Canuga, and we miss seeing you, and we miss seeing a ton of people at all the conventions that we usually do. We missed out on Canuga, Chattacon, MomoCon, SiegeCon,
DragonCon,
Con Carolina, DragonCon. I mean,
you know what I haven't got though this year is Con Crud.
You got other types of crud. You have the capacity to get other types of crud. So have no fear. It may not be con crud, but there's some crud that's coming around.
All the crud shall be yours.
Seriously though, I hope that there is some sort of like in-person convention stuff going to happen this year. I am very, very hopeful. Fingers crossed, and slightly praying, because I want to go and hang out with amazing people that I get to meet at conventions and get to talk about the stuff that's most important or most exciting for me, the stuff that I actually know, and that's video games, and talking about how video games are changing the world or how it's destroying everything. I thrive on that, and it's killed me that I have not been able to partake in any of these conventions.
Not gonna lie, don't think I'm going to a convention in 2021.
If I do, it'll be near the end, I believe. I would think. I don't know. You know what? I say that now, but something tells me, push came to shove, I would probably show up to a convention. I would have to quarantine myself afterwards, probably, most likely, and that might not go over well. But
I think you value your life too much to pull that stunt.
That you would think, but who knows? Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's go into the first topic of the evening, and that deals with
conventions,
censorship in games.
Same thing.
So I'm sure that everyone's come across a game on some sort of platform that has caused an uproar and has caused some subset of consumers to scream for either the platform owners to strike the game from their platform, or to reach out to the developers or the publishers. Side note, ladies and gentlemen, I know that most of you know this, but just in case, publishers are not the developers. Sometimes they are, but most of the time, publishers just pay the developers to make the game. So screwing at the publishers after the developers have gotten their money for making the game, probably not going to change much. Just saying. Anyways.
Well, unless the publisher holds the purse strings to require the developer to change things.
Depends on the contract. You're absolutely right. But chances are, anyways. So, we've seen it before. I mean, I'm going to date myself a little bit, but way back in the day when Mortal Kombat first graced the consoles, there were certain versions of Mortal Kombat that did not have blood, because that was the requirement to get it on. It was censored in that sense.
But you can also use the code to unlock the blood.
Yes. Yes, there was.
I don't remember what it is now, but that was a big deal at the time.
Oh, absolutely. But here's the thing: there's always going to be censorship, and it's going to be all over the place. And there's always another thing that you have to take into consideration is that there's not a single game out there that is not going to ruffle someone's feathers. Some people make games to intentionally ruffle feathers.
You can find plenty of those on the Steam store.
Yeah, or on the App Store.
Well, I'm thinking the more risque type of games.
Okay, so here's the funny thing. The game that is causing the latest uproar is a game called Sense, a cyberpunk ghost story by Top Hat Studios. This game is being released onto the Switch. I think it actually released today. It previously released on Steam back in August of 2020. And what I find interesting is everyone's, screaming and yelling about this game, and I'll read their statement in a second about, you got to censor this, you got to throw this game out. But there is a Switch game, and I cannot for the life of me remember what it is. But I downloaded it stupidly. I downloaded it. It was like a $1.99 game, which Zealeus would automatically go, that's probably garbage. But it's like, it's been discounted to $1.99. Nah, it's probably not worth it.
Is that the game, I'm assuming?
Yes, that's the Steam game. Yeah, that's the Steam version. But they ported it, or were in the process of porting it to the Nintendo Switch. But the game I'm talking about, I can't. Like I said, I'd have to look at my Switch to find it. But this game, holy crap! I mean, there was sex scenes, stills of sex scenes, and like gratuitous nudity, and I'm going, okay, so what makes that game any worse than the one since a Cyberpunk Ghost Story? So, a bunch of people have been yelling, screaming, you need to censor this game. So this is the official reply or statement from Top Hat Studios. Top Hat Studios. And that is, with the recent news of Sense, a Cyberpunk Ghost Story, coming to Nintendo Switch, we are aware of a large amount of messages and demands aimed toward the game's console platform release based on lies, claims that it is explicitly pornographic or somehow encourages violence, or more ridiculously, somehow breaks the law. Furthermore, voices have attempted to advocate making sale of the game untenable through demanding harsh censorship aimed towards the developer's art style, with threats to review bomb the game and or harass its distributors. In addition, we have received death threats from those who feel threatened by what essentially boils down to aesthetic decision of how pixels are arranged on a screen. While disappointed at these behaviors, we are certainly not surprised. Let us be clear on this. We will not censor the game because of self-centered crowds who care solely about grandstanding. We categorically and absolutely refuse to restrict creative expression. Creators should be allowed freedom to express themselves, particularly when it comes to expression of subcultures they have been immersed in. As a cyberpunk game, Sense uses imagery and themes related to a future of hyper-commercialized, commodified imagery as part of its cyberpunk theme and inspiration. This is reflected in all character designs. With that said, we expect that this is lost on those attacking the developer for being harmful and somehow inflicting violence and pain. Those who believe words or images inflict violence should perhaps stop spurting their own hateful, false rhetoric and also cease condoning death threats to those who disagree with. We reject any and all of the aforementioned brazen characterizations of the game and would like to reiterate our principles against tampering with creators' expressions. We would also like to reiterate this game is rated ESRB M17 plus or PEGI 18. This is not an AO game, which is adult only. Nor have any laws been broken, as some social media commenters have ridiculously claimed out of their biases. The game's rating reflects the target audience, and yet this fact is lost on those who have been led by a will to blindly crusade against their false perceptions. Once again, this game will not be censored. We categorically refuse. So, I'm good with that. I mean, look, here's the deal. Like I stated before I jumped in this entire to this entire reply, there is never going to be a game that everybody is going to find wholesome or amazing or perfect. And I do like the fact that Top Hat Studios did, they pointed out exactly that this is ESRB M. This is, rated in the top echelon. This is like rated R. You don't let your 3-year-old watch a rated R movie. You don't let your kid play, your little child, 7, 8-year-old, play a mature rated title. And as a father, I definitely think that violent and mature rated games do not belong in an 8-year-old's hands.
Yeah, I don't know why the Hulu of this game of all the games, excuse me, especially when you can browse through the Steam store and find plenty of games that are probably more, I guess you consider repugnant or violent or sexual or whatever your adjective is here. You could probably find games in a larger scale of this game. So it's interesting to me that this is the game that gets kind of picked out. And it ultimately comes down to, with a video game like this, is if you think it's a terrible game, then don't play it. Right. It's really not that complicated when it comes to this type of a topic. And it's also, it would also be one thing if it was like, being advertised on, well, I know they don't have Saturday morning cartoons. Well, if you get like Saturday morning cartoons advertising it, that's also a little bit different, but that's probably not the case, I'm assuming. No. So kind of like you said, you're a parent, do your job and don't let you can restrict ratings on your Switch or your console or your iOS, whatever device you're playing.
Your tablet.
They all have parental controls installed on those now. Like, that's a standard feature. So I don't really get why this would be the game that there's a pitchfork mob over. I'm curious, like, how much is there really a pitchfork mob of this game, or is it something that just got kind of picked up where a lot of games have people who think, oh, it should be censored? Was this game really more of a pitchfork mob than other games, or is this one that just happened to get kind of picked out from the anti-SJW crowd of their poster child?
So, having never played the game, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I've never played the game. I've never actually seen any of the game. But what I can tell you is that one of the statements they made is, with the cyberpunk theme and all the over commercialization, all that stuff. I just finished putting over 100 hours into Cyberpunk 2077, and let me tell you, I would not want my child to even look at the game while I'm playing, because there's the over sexualization of society, and there's ads and billboards of stuff that young children should never see.
Well, there's I hate to tell you, there's like an entire genre out there that's dedicated to games of, let's just call it non-consensual violence.
Agreed. Right.
And they exist already. So it's kind of like, this is the game that you choose to pick up is fascinating to me.
Well, so here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. As hard as it is to believe, you have a choice on what game to buy on the platform that you currently own. So if there's games on the Switch you don't want to buy, you don't have to buy them. But if there's I am all for creative expression. I want individuals to be able to create games. Do I agree with some of these games, with their gratuitous violence or their over-sexualization of characters? No. But, that being said, if it's out there, there's a market for it. I'm not the market. So I'm not going to, I'm not going to go after these companies because, dear God, if you accidentally allow on Steam when you're doing your what do you call it, discovery queue,
Oh gosh.
if you hit what was it there's was it like adult only games, if you toggle that on, they'll be added. Holy crap.
You get adult games.
Wow. Some that will haunt your nightmares. But there are people out there like, that's the game for me.
Dreams.
And that, I'm totally okay with that. You could play. I will not review any of those games. That being said, if you like those games and you enjoy them, go for it. I ain't gonna stop you.
And obviously, there's a market for them because people continue to produce them. So obviously, there are productive people of the world and country who purchase said items.
Agreed.
Because if they were not making a profit off of it, they would not be producing them still in general. Agreed. So obviously, people are interested in them. And okay, I mean, that's part of living in a free country, hopefully, that people they can also choose to consume these materials and also produce the materials.
Yes.
And, as a parent, do your job and don't let your kids play them. It's really not that. I mean, I say it's not that hard, but I think back to when I was a kid and how much time I probably would have spent trying to get around filters and restrictions and all that stuff. But that's besides the point.
See, back in the day, I'm just kidding. Anyways, so speaking of this game, let's kind of, I've already hinted about it, but let's talk about Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk 2077, of course, was a highly hyped up game that got delayed at least 2, maybe 3 times. They got shoved out the door, sold 13 million copies upon launch, and then when launch started to about now, they've lost 79% of their concurrent players.
Jeez.
They have the company CD Projekt Red has had to issue full refunds to, was it next gen? No, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One owners who bought the game. They had the ability for a full refund. I don't know if it's still gone, but at some point the game was completely removed from the PlayStation Store. So there are issues, and they've got they've already got lawsuits, and the developers have already come out and said that there's a lot of stuff that didn't get polished. And I will be completely frank with you, I know there wasn't a lot of things that were that didn't get polished. I reviewed Cyberpunk 2077 this week. I finally wrote it down. It is by far the longest review I've ever written for Ultra Confusion.
But you still sunk over 100 hours into it.
Yes,
so
I did. I
did.
It was. I want to make something clear. This is okay. So when I enjoy something or I get excited about something, there is a very good chance I'm going to critique the shit out of it because I enjoyed it so much that I want it to be even better, if possible. I have never run into a perfect game, a perfect convention, a perfect book, a perfect movie. There's always been something that I personally felt that could be, critiqued. That hopefully the individuals on the receiving end of my review, my critique, are willing to listen to and not try to attack me, which has happened. I'm not going to name names, but ironically, it happens more with conventions than video games. But anyway, but the thing is, look, as Zealeus alluded to, I put over 100 hours into Cyberpunk 2077. It's a good game as long as it's working, and that is a huge caveat. And I know that I've been looking. I've seen all of these like articles about problems with Cyberpunk 2077, and I did not read any of them until I was done with the game. I did not want my view to be colored from what is happening around the world. I wanted it to be like I wanted to play the game and review the game in a bubble. And then upon writing my review, then I, came out and looked at all of what everyone else is running into. And I have to say that there are some people that played it on the PC that had none of the issues I ran into. And I feel really jealous because I wish that I could have got that experience. That said, as I've stated, there's always something you can do better. There's an amazing game there somewhere through all the bugs, through all of, the kinks and the issues. And if somehow they could just fix it,
no big deal.
It's an amazing game. It could be an amazing game. But that being said, we have seen in the past, when it comes to a movie, when it comes to a book series or a movie franchise or games, this type of oopsie-daisy can cause lasting harm to the brand name. There are individuals out there who may have gotten in early on launch with CyberPunk 2077, and there are individuals that got burned so bad that no matter what happens in the future to Cyberpunk 2077, they will never come back to being a fan. And that's the truth for, basically any franchise. And you can already see that if the concurrent number of users is basically falling off that fast, then you, unfortunately, as a developer or more likely a publisher, you have to do what's it called? A cost-benefit analysis. Do you fix the game? I mean, 200,000 concurrent players, that's a lot of players to me, but it might not be to, to a company like CD Projekt Key. Oh my God, CD Projekt Red. For some reason in my head, I'm always like mixing up the CD, the project, and the Red. Sometimes it's Red CD Projekt, sometimes it's Red Project CD. It is CD Projekt Red, and it was such it had such amazing pieces to it.
See, I feel like it's going to be the perfect Game of the Year edition, like 2 years from now when it's $10. Because hopefully by then, it'll have the bugs worked out, hopefully, and it'll be cheaper, and then it'll actually be optimized also for the consoles by then, in theory. And it'll be in a, frankly, playable state. So I know usually I wait for the Game of the Year edition because I'm cheap, but in this case, I'm just waiting because of the bugs. And I know, obviously, they screwed up with releasing the game too soon. But I also still think, or I have the faith that they're going to fix the game. The problem is, who knows how long that's going to take.
Agreed.
I mean, we could be looking at 2 years from now, and they're still releasing big patches for the game. And that could be part of the problem is what is the length of these patch cycles going to be to get that game into a playable state.
Agreed. And the other thing is, coming from I used to work at a development studio. Another thing is, there's always since the number of users is falling and the number of issues is climbing, there is this like internal want and desire to try to correct things as fast as possible. That does not work. You cannot just spit stuff out on a published game or a service in production. You can't just throw patches at it and not have it thoroughly tested. And if you're going to have it thoroughly tested, you need to do it in bulk. And so with so much hype and then such a stumble at the gate, it's even doubly hard. But the other thing, and Zealeus was, like the Game of the Year edition, maybe a year or two down the line. Once again, I'm going to bring up the cost benefit, the cost benefit analysis of how much is it going to cost to fix all of this stuff, because graphically that potentially could be huge. Depends on if they have to they have to tweak their graphic engine, or if they have to use a different graphic engine, because it could be different. I'm getting really technical, and I apologize if I'm going right over some people's heads, but stay with me. Different systems have different architectures, so you might have to do little tweaks here and there. Then, of course, there's just, with an open world game, you're never going to be able to cover all your bases. It's not possible. If you were to do that, you'd have a game that is in closed or open beta till the end of time. It's not possible. There's no way that someone can test every single little thing. You just pray as a developer and a publisher that you get most of it right. Now,
Yep.
I don't know how much this will take, because of course I'm not there. I'm not in that company, but I have to think that there's going to be some huge hurdles that they're going to have to pragmatically, like, for developer and arts and all that stuff, to deal with, on top of all of these mounting lawsuits about how they lied about the use of technology or testing on technology, or and then of course you've got all these stories coming out about how they wanted the money now, and they figured no one will catch on to the broken parts, and now they're paying for it.
Oh, gamers will find those broken parts. Ain't no doubt about that.
Oh, believe me, I am the type of person who well, I have a background in quality assurance or testing, and it is my pleasure to try to do things that other people probably wouldn't have thought of. And then I love, this warms my heart and chills those of developers to hear a developer say, well, no one would do that. Well, guess what? I did.
Games can still rebound. I mean, look like the Assassin's Creed series. What was it?
Unity.
Assassin's Creed Unity was so terrible, and yet Assassin's Creed Valhalla is still doing fantastic.
Right, but Assassin's Creed was already established. CyberPunk 2077. This is the foundational first brick laid.
Well, I'm thinking in the context of CD Projekt Red in terms of having the Witcher franchise. I know it's not a Witcher game, but it's still an RPG. So I'm kind of thinking in terms of that, where they at least have that experience potentially to be able to turn it around. You also had like Final Fantasy 14 when it first came out was a complete bomb.
And they rebranded it.
Yep.
So what are we looking for? Cyberpunk 2077, the golden years?
Cyberpunk 2078.
I don't think that's how it works. The way the game plays, and I'm not going to give away anything, but I'm pretty sure it's stay in that year.
So
or hell, they could fix it. I mean, they could change that little bit and prove me wrong.
I would think there's still hope. I just don't know. Definitely tricky. That's for sure.
Tricky is one way to put it. One way to put it, sir. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take this moment to give some shout outs, some love and attention to those who absolutely 100% deserve it. So without further ado, let's give a shout out to all the friends of the show. We start with the Indie Cluster. The Indie Cluster is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences as a traveling booth to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships in local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts to challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. Indie Cluster is a phenomenal organization. Zealeus and I have seen them at quite a few different conventions. The one that we see them the most at, of course, is MomoCon because it is local. But this organization is paramount. It is amazing. It is very important because it allows for independent developers who may not have the money to rent a booth at a convention. Because I surprise, but it costs money and a lot of money.
Money, but money grows in trees, Sid.
So when you partner with something like this organization, they you share their space, you share the cost. It makes it a lot easier to gain a lot of attention for your game, but not having to sink in so much money. So I highly recommend, if you are an independent developer, definitely check out the Indie Cluster. See if they can help you and your community and your neck of the woods. If they are not there, I am almost sure that they can help you find like-minded individuals who can band together and showcase the amazing stuff that you guys are making. Now, of course, the next shout out I gotta give is Hero Chiropractic. Hero Chiropractic is a unique healthcare practice. Set up by Ryan Moore, the company's focus to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the greater Atlanta area. They are committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make that plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual needs. For those who want more information, just go to www.herochiropractic.com. Ryan has been my chiropractor for quite a while now, many years. He is my son's chiropractor now, and he knows his stuff. He's done amazing things to help me with my back and my legs and my feet. It's wonderful. And of course, my son is already benefiting from his adjustments as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have to do a shout out to an old friend of the show and an amazing game creator, and that, of course, is Craig Campbell of Nerdburger Games. Nerdburger Games is the game design imprint of award-winning RPG designer Craig Campbell. Craig has done a whole bunch of RPG design freelancing in the past. Several years ago, he dove into designing his own RPG. Now, Nerdburger Games has multiple RPGs and is showing no signs of stopping. Nerdburger Games endeavors to create games that explore corners of the RPG landscape that haven't been explored, or haven't been explored very often. These games forego dense gaming mechanics in favor of lighter rule sets that allow players to focus on telling fun, engaging, memorable stories. If you want more information, go to www.nerdburgergames.com. Currently, on their inventory list of games that Zealeus and I could definitely put our weight behind is Capers, Die Laughing, Mergers and Acquisitions. And they just, of course, or they are in the process of fulfilling their Kickstarter promises for their latest game, Good Strong Hands. And if it is of the quality of Capers, Die Laughing, or Mergers and Acquisitions, I can promise you that it's worth your time.
Amen to that, brother.
The final shout out, of course, is just to our local watering hole because it means so much to us. We hope that it never closes down because we need places like this. We, as nerds and brilliant, smart people that aren't understanding in many places. And that, of course, is Battle and Brew. Battle and Brew is Atlanta's first and oldest gaming bar and restaurant. Opened in 2005, Battle and Brew had a very modest menu, a few beer taps, and focused heavily on gaming. Now they have grown to encompass so much more. They pioneered geek trivia in Atlanta and remain the hardest trivia in town. They have upgraded the menu from only a few items to all your bar favorites and some soon-to-be favorites. They've expanded the gaming and kept everything top of the line. They've taken a good place and made it a great place. A place where the staff listens to your desires and suggestions. A place where you and your friends feel like you're at home. A place where everyone knows your game. For more information, if you're in the Atlanta area, just go to www.battleandbrew.com. And one of these days, I'm going to find my way over there to, at the very least, do curbside pickup for the weekend brunch, because now they do it on Saturday and Sunday.
Ooh.
And I want one of those breakfast sandwiches so bad.
Sounds right,
they can keep the mimosa. Just give me that breakfast sandwich.
How badly do you want this breakfast sandwich?
Oh, it's getting super duper bad, my friend. Super duper bad. Not gonna lie, it's getting super super bad.
What about their dragon talons?
Oh, look, if we're going the regular menu, man, I've got chicken pom pom, the chicken parmesan sandwich with a side of Little Mac, which of course is mac and cheese, and of course, basically most of the drinks that are on or behind the bar.
It's still wrong to me that you don't get your dragon talons anymore.
Well, the thing is, they didn't have that chicken parm sandwich until I guess the last year or so. But I'm if I get chicken parm, man, I'm a happy man. And so as soon as they gave me the chicken pom pom, I was like, yes, that's me. That's me. So anyway,
or you can get some magic to go boxes.
That too. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, those are shout outs to the friends of the show. There is one more. I'm just waiting for their information to come in so that we can add them to the show. But for now, they will lurk in the shadows. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, let me do some personal shout outs for Ultra Confusion. The first one is Ultra Confusion has a Patreon. Ultra Confusion survives on the love and support of fans like you, and so we have a Patreon page. Patreon lets you, the fans or supporters, become active participants in the work we love through a monthly membership. This gives you access to exclusive content and community, and insight into our creative process. In exchange, we gain a bit more freedom to do our best work and the stability we need to build an even stronger creative brand. Currently, for those of you who have the ability, say, to support us with $1 a month or $5 a month, those are the two options currently. I'm still kind of kicking around a slightly higher tier, but for those who are willing to donate $1 a month,
$1 a month,
so $12 a year, or $5 a month and $60 a year, you can gain some exclusive stuff for Ultra Confusion. The $1 tier, you gain early access to both the $1 and the $5 tier. You both gain early access to all the playthroughs that I'm posting on YouTube. So right now, you would have access to the first 2 episodes of Max and Sam Save the World. I believe there's a total of 4, maybe 5 of those. And as a Patreon or patron of the Patreon, you would gain access to that entire season before anyone else. I currently just completed the 3rd episode. I have rendered it. I am about to upload it, and of course, if you're a patron, you will gain. You'll get an update, and that playlist that you have access to will include the new episodes.
Nice.
Now, if you are on the $5 tier, not only do you gain early access to the playthroughs, and I'm sorry, the $1 one also has the ability to take polls to help shape Ultra Confusion. But if you go to the $5 tier, you can also gain your name or organization in the thank you section of the Thursday Night Hangout, which was basically the friends of the show. So if you want to be added to that, be it you or your organization, if you donate $5 a month, you can be part of that public shout-out. Now, of course, if you want more information, you go to www.patreon, that's patreon.com/ultraconfusion. Now, I know that it's just the beginning of 2021, but I am so passionate about something, and so I've already set it up. Ladies and gentlemen, for the 10th year straight, we will be participating in Extra Life. Extra Life is gamers doing what they do best, gaming, to help sick and injured children at their chosen Children's Miracle Network hospital. The money we raise through Extra Life will go directly to, for us personally, Children's Healthcare of Atlanta as unrestricted funds. This means that the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars we raise make the biggest impact in the lives of the kids they treat. So if you have the capacity to donate, please go to extra-life.org. And I think Zealeus might have just posted. No, he has not posted yet. The participant code is 45020. 08, which of course is slightly different than it was last year. So I think the quickest way is to, I think I corrected it where you could look for Alter Confusion now, but if I haven't, if you're watching this on Twitch, you can go to the Extra Life section underneath it and you can click it from there. And if you're watching on Facebook, it was one of the recent posts I just popped popped up.
You still need to search for your name.
All right, I'll fix it. Damn it. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, so please donate to Extra Life. If you do not have the financial stability to be a patron for Alter Confusion, I'm sorry you can't. But if you want to help out Alter Confusion, the best thing you could do, or the most amazing thing you could do, is to help spread the word. If you like what we do on the Thursday Night Hangout, or on the streams, or on the website, or anything, share it, favorite it, retweet it, repost it, all that stuff. Be it on Facebook, on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Patreon, whatever it may be. If you like something that we're doing, please spread the love, because there are a lot of like-minded individuals out there who may not know about us yet, and it would be amazing to add them to the ranks of supporters of of nerdy people like us. Now, if you do want to make a financial donation, you only want to do it a one-time type of way, what you could do is either on Twitch or on alteredconfusion.com. There is a donate now button. You click there. It is a one-time payment through PayPal. They'll go directly to Alter Confusion. Maybe financial support is not in the cards for you, but you want to perhaps give us something that we can show off on the show, or maybe I'll do an unboxing video of. What you could do is you could send it to the following address. That would be 1551 Dunwoody, that's DUNWOODY, Village Parkway, and this is super duper 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 important, this is the P.O. Box number, by the way, number 88276. If you do not put that number there, it goes to the post office proper, and it will be returned to you within 3 to 5 business days. The city is Dunwoody, once again, DUNWOODY, Georgia. Zip code is 30338. I attempted to go to the post office this past week, and the line was out the door. So, unfortunately, I did not have the capacity to wait that long, so I will attempt to go again later.
That is not surprising.
No, not at all.
I know the one by my school is always packed.
Well, it might be a little bit of a better experience if there was more than just one person working the 6 open spaces for workers. But that's neither here nor there. So let's jump into the next probably hot topic here, and that is, with the pandemic of 2020 and potentially 2021 being COVID-19, things have changed a lot with everything. And so what we're seeing is a lot of individuals like ourselves who do a lot of streaming, who do a lot of fan content for your favorite franchise. What we're seeing is this weird ass negative wave, or kind of like anti-wave happening. And that, of course, is you have a lot of companies coming out that are doubling down on DMCA strikes, on basically trying to cover their asses. Of course, the main one is Twitch. Twitch has for months had content creators dealing with DMCA strikes. These strikes have allowed for the potential of individuals losing their Twitch account completely, getting permabanned for having a stream that has copyrighted music, be it of like an artist, or in some weird ass examples, there are individuals who have gotten strikes because a sound effect in a game was somehow copyrighted in a library of sounds, and so you get dinged there. And this is one that, and here's an example of something that I just found out about, and I don't know how long ago this was, but this actually kind of pisses me off beyond belief. Look, there is a specific or example where a streamer was banned because when she got up from her computer for a second, her child was seen on the stream and was talking with the audience for, I don't know, a couple minutes. And for that, the streamer was indefinitely banned.
Because the kid was the one doing the streaming?
Okay, so a little bit more background. There was a professional Valorant player whose streaming career was just, was starting to, gain traction. And she got banned because her young daughter appeared on stream and interacted with the chat while she was away. Twitch has a very strict rule that streamers are not allowed to be under the age of 13. So for however many minutes that she was away, her daughter, who of course is under the age of 13, was present and was interacting with the crowd. Therefore, permaban.
Yikes.
Now, of course, the ban has been lifted, but this is, this is insane. What's going on with Twitch is absolutely insane. And the problem is, what do you, as streamers, as internet personalities, what the hell else are we supposed to do? There's no Mixer. Facebook Gaming, sure, but Facebook Gaming's got its own problems. I mean, YouTube Gaming, but YouTube Gaming, basically folded up and died. What you really have is YouTube, and you just put the tag of gaming on there. Twitch basically holds most of the cards, if not all the cards. So it's insane that, look, Twitch is owned by Amazon. I don't understand the logic behind Twitch not just, paying so that, all this copyright shit goes away. Now, the kid thing, I understand. In principle, if this kid had their own streaming account, yeah, ban it. If this kid was a huge component a constant component of this streamer's streaming schedule, yeah, ban it. But a kid showing up once and interacting with the audience, and then the owner of the stream gets banned, that's insane. Shit. I have an 8-year-old son, and there are times when I've been streaming that he's popped up and said hello. Am I now on grounds of getting banned forever because my kid popped up and said hello while I was playing, I don't know, Legend of Zelda or whatever game I'm playing at the time, Runes of Runeterra?
Yes, I'm going to report you right now to Twitch to get you banned. I
mean, that's insane. I understand that these companies want to cover their asses, but I think that there's a point where you just gotta chill. And just in case that there are sensitive ears here, ladies and gentlemen, I am about to warn you that I'm about to use big boy words that are offensive to many people and are considered curse words to many people, and that is,
oh dear,
this is fucked up. Look. Yes, I understand you want to cover your own asses. I understand that. But at some time, you can't just... This is so fucked up because there's not an alternative. If there was an alternative, Twitch would have to take some of this shit and deal with it. But because there's not a true alternative, they could just laugh and giggle and smile and go, sucks to be you.
So I was looking, because I was curious, I was like, okay, maybe there's a large increase of streamers, which is causing them to not be able to keep up. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of okay, what do the trends look like? So I'm looking at a website called Business of Apps. Mm-hmm. And from what I'm seeing is if you look at monthly broadcasters from 2018 to 2020, it's increased from 2018 to 19 from 3.39 million to 3.64 million. And then from 2019 to 2020 to 3.64 million to 3.84 million. So not a whole lot of increase. And if you look at average concurrent channels, it's gone in 2019 from 49.5 thousand to 56.4 thousand. So again, an increase, but nothing that a streaming service of Twitch's magnificent resources, with Jeff Bezos's wallet at the hand, should be able to keep up with.
That's the thing. Why is this stuff? The thing is, you would think, as an individual who has created products or developed products, here's my rationale. When you create a product, the first edition is always going to be the roughest. But then you're going to refine it. You're going to optimize it. You're going to make it even better. I mean, hell, that's the process of patching games, is to make it more stable, better. It's not to make it more difficult on the consumer. It's the weirdest fucking thing in the world. Twitch used to be like this haven to stream games, to allow to have a commentary about the game and not have to worry if this song is going to get you dinged. Yes, potentially. Were there DMCA strikes that maybe didn't get to streamers? I don't know, maybe. But all of a sudden, Twitch is like, oh shit. Maybe the thing is the amount of games out there that have musician copyrighted music has increased. I don't know, but still, for that size of a platform, having existed for this long, for them now to basically start beating the shit out of their own, loyal followers and fans and users of the platform is just weird and fucked up.
Well, and you wonder if, I think a part of it is definitely that there's no competition.
Yeah.
That, as you put it, they don't have to really care too much because, as you put it, where else are you going to go? What are you going to do? There aren't really a whole lot of alternatives right now of what to do.
Mm-hmm. So, I know that I could go on about Twitch forever, and because of their wackadoodle crazy stuff. But let's talk about another company that all of a sudden has gotten up and started doing some wackadoodle crazy stuff. Well, maybe not wackadoodle crazy, but more, let's be vague about shit. And that, of course, is kind of ironic because I've always thrown a little bit of love to the way of this company. Of course, it's Capcom. Capcom has recently updated their policies. Basically, with 2020 and pandemic, everyone's staying at home. They're creating more content online. They're doing a lot more streaming. So Capcom has refined their rules and guidelines. I'm going to just read a couple of, some tidbits out of a couple of the sections here. The first section that I want to talk about is the creative content. This is walkthroughs, tutorials, let's play, speed runs, all that jazz. These videos are allowed to show game footage from the game, which if it didn't, that'd be weird as hell. But it is there should be an associated step-by-step commentary tied to the live game playing being shown, and should provide instructional or educational value or other benefits to the viewer. Okay. What about all those, videos where people are, making fun of games? Is that going to be, are you going to get dinged for that, for tearing a Capcom game a new one?
Okay, so speaking of I'm trying to find the right video here that I just watched. So I just started playing Monster Hunter World.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm playing a hammer. So I'm like, okay, like, how do you play? And I found it's the funniest damn video of how to play Hunter. Mm-hmm. There's absolutely no guide as you're saying to it. But it is legit one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I'm going to post it here in chat once I get through this ad. It's complete nonsense, but I think it's to your point where to what they're saying is like it's not telling you what to actually do. There's not any guide. They're obviously using footage from the game, but I think it kind of goes back to what we talked in the past, especially like when it comes to tribute videos and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's videos like that that make the community, I think, more invested in the game. Like nobody's gonna watch that video and be like, "Oh, well, I'm not playing Monster Hunter World now." It's like, "Oh, I'm actually kind of intrigued by that because it's just so crazy off the rails." And like that's what gets me sometimes about like the mandates of the restrictions of, especially when you have online games. That's what gets people interested is
Right.
that community that you could otherwise build. I mean, that's a huge thing with MMOs I played is that in-game rating content, you have to go watch videos.
Yep.
Now, granted, those videos would actually follow those guidelines pretty well for step-by-step directions, but still, that was a huge part of it was watching those videos in-game.
Right. But the question is, what do the reviewers of Capcom consider instructional or educational value? Because the thing is, you may be watching a video that indeed shows you what you need to do. However, the commentary has no relevance whatsoever. So are they going to get dinged for that because it's not, relevant? To go a little bit further, game footage posted online. You should not share game footage online without adding your own video or content unless the game console or device permits sharing of game footage. They won't go further, saying you're not allowed to split the game content into components, visual, vocal, in-game elements, etc., and distribute such components as separate content. Which that makes me that is a little bit to me, because there are a lot of creative individuals out there who do who pride themselves with voice acting and with visualization, like art styles and all that stuff. So what you're saying now is that I can't take a little bit of just the art style, little segment of a video of just the art style of a Capcom video and do like a compare and contrast to others, because that's a no-no. And then, of course, let's go a little bit further. Fan content may not be promoted as official Capcom content, which, of course, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
That makes sense to me. Note that, let's go on to now the music section. That is, some game soundtracks or songs may not be owned by Capcom, but instead are licensed from an artist or another group. As this varies from game to game, please be aware that music may trigger content flags and potentially removal of the video. Game soundtracks may not be posted or distributed separately and apart from game footage, which that's a whole section of YouTube is they basically just compile, the soundtrack, game soundtrack, all the songs from a game. They just compile it with like visualizations, stills, or maybe small little sections of the game. I mean, shit, I was just listening to one that just was, it was like different versions of established or recognizable Link, Zelda music, but it was, gave different little cutscenes from all the Zelda games. That would probably be a big no-no. Let's go forward. So let's go with more. Yes, there's more. Let's go with audience appropriate. All fan-created content should be appropriate for the audience of the Capcom game. So if your game is rated E for everyone, you cannot have any type of content that would not be considered E for everyone associated with your video. So if it's an E for everyone and you start blatantly cussing, that's an out. So there is, as we discussed earlier in the show, there is always going to be a demographic that maybe you're not a part of, but exists. There are going to be individuals who are huge fans of Capcom titles who may go a much more mature adult route with it. these people would be in serious violation, according to Capcom, for sexying up Mega Man or Ryu or Chun-Li. Chun-Li would be a huge, or Cammy, or, insert Capcom game character here. Now this is, I'm trying my best to just weed out the important things, and I hope that you know that I have really shaved off a huge chunk of this to try to get to the meat of it. Here's one that, this is not only a Capcom thing. This is actually quite a few companies are starting to do this, and this deals with spoilers. There are companies out there, Capcom included, that are now cracking down on individuals who post gameplay or playthroughs or let's play or whatever of games. They're cracking down on individuals who post videos past what they call, or they consider, a spoiler point. They don't want you to be able to post the entire playthrough. They want you to post up to where the huge twist or spoiler is, right before that, because they fear that it will affect the ability to gain a new consumer or gamer or user of their product. So there are companies like Capcom, like Atlus out there who will come after you and make all your content go away because you accidentally revealed a twist in, for Atlus, it would be Persona 5. For Capcom, I guess, I don't know. I can't think of any Capcom games. I mean, Mega Man. Some new twist on Mega Man.
Twist of who the actual monster is.
It's not really Dr. Wily. It's Dr. Light. No, seriously.
What about Dr. Doom? But people enjoy, I don't get that, because people enjoy watching those videos. Like, that's actual thing people watch. I don't know. Or they actually need help to play through the game, including the twist.
Yeah, no, that's what gets me is, look, there are individuals, myself included, where there are games out there that I cannot get past because I am lost. And so I seek these videos out. I may have already gotten past that spoiler, that little twist, but I might be stuck, 30 minutes after that. The way that that it sounds, and certain companies are doing, is that I would not be able to find that video because it's after the spoiler point.
Well, the two problems I have with it, one are, if there's word about sales, I would wager a guess it's an astonishingly small percentage of the user base who are not going to purchase a game because of a potential spoiler from seeking out a playthrough of a YouTube video.
Let's be honest. There are individuals out there who I like to consider them professional watchers of playthroughs.
Yeah.
They will never buy the game. They want to know all the twists and turns, but they're not gonna buy the game. You trying to beat the crap out of someone who is providing content legally, by the way, because you're not adding modifications to it. You're playing it straight. You're clearly stating that this is not my game. This is my playthrough of this specific title. What the hell?
Yeah, and I mean, usually it's, from what I've seen of playthroughs, people are also usually like, by the way, there's something coming up. They're not like, surprise.
Well, no, I mean, even if it is a surprise, I mean, if you're watching something, if you're watching someone play a game, okay, chances are, well, for me personally, when I do my playthroughs, it's not like I've played the game before.
Sure.
I'm playing it cold turkey. So if I get excited about some surprise or twist, I of course vocalize it, and then you could be surprised or be like, "Oh God, you're so stupid, Charlie," along with me. It'd be like reading a book. Or sorry, it would be, here we go. Here's because I have kids. This will be perfect. I bring in a picture book and I read it to the class. And out of the 20 pages of this book, I read the first 16 and then have to stop because there's a twist. And then I walk out. That to me is how it computes. It is ridiculous. If someone has put the time into paying attention to someone presenting something, let them see it all.
Yep, I agree.
Now, I'm not saying that, there are individuals out there who probably are making videos about, reverse engineering games and looking at all the zeros and ones. That's probably not the thing you want to do. But if someone, they're showing their passion through a playthrough, and you're watching it because you either like the individual who's streaming or presenting this, or perhaps it's a game that you're very passionate about and you're stuck, or maybe it's a game that you'll never play because you don't have that specific platform. It's just ridiculous. It's ludicrous that you would not be able to watch the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like watching Lord of the Rings, the extended trilogy, and then you're not allowed to watch the last 2 hours.
And the place where I use it is, where was it when I was playing Lego Harry Potter?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there were some rings or whatever it was I could not find.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like a perfect place of using a playthrough where you literally just watch the master play. And I reckon most people who are watching playthroughs are people like me, who it's like, oh, I know I missed something here. I'm going to go back and watch it to see what did I basically miss in the game.
Okay, so we're talking about spoilers. So when you have a video that outlines, the Easter eggs or the collector's items, would that be considered a spoiler because now you're revealing the hidden location?
And truly, what is a spoiler? I mean, literally, did you know that the next part of Harry Potter Lego was going to be in the dungeon? Maybe I thought it was going to be in the observatory.
No,
so spoiler.
What about you find enough, I don't know, hidden magic seeds, so you unlock a special character that has the question mark on there until you've gotten enough things. Is that considered a spoiler?
Basically, it sounds like it's a giant CYA document, so they can pull a video for any reason they want.
Oh dear God, yes.
That's what it comes down to.
Let's go a little bit further, shall we? Capcom does not allow content and other materials to be used to make money or to gain any other financial benefit except through permissible monetization systems described below. You may not limit to pay, access, sell, or license your content that includes our game content to others for payment of any kind. In particular, we do not allow you to create new content using our game if a paid subscription is required for people to access our specific content. That's a little bit weird.
So you can't put it on a Patreon, is what it sounds like.
Yeah. Okay. So, but here's the permissible monetization. Basically, you may use partner programs and or advertising from YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and other video sharing services. Collecting voluntary contributions, such as through Super Chat or YouTube and bits on Twitch, is permitted as long as your video is also available for free to the public on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, or other video sharing services, which would basically say no to Patreon because that's part of the deal. You become a patron so that you get that exclusive content.
Yep, that definitely would ixnay Patreon.
And of course, this one is kind of like a no shit show. Like this is, we do not allow usage of or promotion of third-party programs, including hacking and cheating, or devices that circumnavigate intended protection of Capcom titles. Additionally, we do not allow Capcom content to be uploaded to a platform for which rights have not yet been granted, such as in the creation of Twitch emotes featuring Capcom content. So you cannot make a Mega Man emote for Twitch or Discord or whatever.
Oh,
but I mean, that's
plan for world domination.
Look, I mean, if you really want to boil this down, this is exactly the question, the gray area that we experience every time we go to a convention. The artist alley. I mean, they are creating content that is of a company that they are not a part of for monetary gain. Water.
It's crazy, man.
And then, of course, there are the other highlight of this is that there are companies out there who have been, issuing, DMCA, oh my God, now I've got the letters mixed up. DMCA takedowns and content strikes and all that stuff, but they never say why. And currently right now they have that option. They don't have to explain it because they hold the cards. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're basically to the end of the show. We unfortunately did not get to all the topics, but I do want to give you guys a heads up that the first topic on the agenda for next week, so you can add to this list. The question was asked with the announcement of a new Dungeons and Dragons movie, which is set for release in 2022, and having Chris Pine attached to it. What franchises do you fear or know have failed when going across medias? I will tell you real quick the couple of examples I pulled up, and I'm sure there's a ton more, and I would be more than happy to add to the list. But basically, of course, Dungeons and Dragons, Dungeon Siege, which Zealeus and I have talked about several times, Battleship, and Rampage are the 1, 2, 3, 4 that I've pulled up, and of course there are more. There's of course there's there's a ton of them out there. Let's just put it that way. But I'd be very interested to see what everyone's opinion is about that. All right, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to wrap it up. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, but a pleasure giving you everything come our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. Will be back next Thursday for another Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.